Alright, welcome back you guys. Today we're taking on the very next area of the game, No Man's Wharf. But before we go there, let's talk to this lovely lady right here. She's actually a lady in case you didn't know, but yeah, her name is Lucatiel. And we're gonna see her more than once. Let's just put it that way for now. Of course, as you can tell already, she's not really too fond of us. At least not right away, but if we keep talking to her, she's gonna kind of find us funny and entertaining and then start talking to us and opening up a little bit more. And she apparently is also she's come to Drang Lake in order to go on an adventure. And usually if you come to Drang Lake, there's only one kind of adventure that you can have, but I'm not going to reveal that just yet. We will find out more about her at a later point in time. So for now, we're just going to talk to her a little bit. She says that she's from Mira, a land of knights, and she's really cool at like sword fighting, really crazy and stuff like that. And soon she should offer her assistance, and that I think happened just now. Let's talk to her again. Yeah, I think she's now just repeating. So that basically now means that she's going to be a summon sign in the next area, and by resting at the bonfire she's going to disappear. Very unfortunate. I mean, kind of. At first you might maybe think that it's unfortunate, but it's not so unfortunate, because she's going to come and help you. And wow, I love this area. I really do. It's probably one of my favorite areas of the game. And as you might remember me saying last time, it's kind of the area, or at least similar to what I would have wanted out of an area in Dark Souls 2. Because actually before the game came out, I was like always saying, or at least saying to myself, I guess, that it would be fucking amazing if they had some kind of pirate-themed area, like, I guess not like super cliche pirate thing, instead something more grim, more dark, because there's also that kind of pirate, and I guess they are also very much with this area doing exactly that, and I'm loving it. As I've maybe already said last time, it maybe isn't everything I wanted out of such an area, because it's rather short as well. But very, very cool area, and this area is kind of special too, because it does stuff very differently from other areas in Dark Souls 2, in the sense that it very much like introduces a gimmick that kind of just adds to the overall gameplay. It doesn't take away from any gameplay, because basically what you're going to be doing is the same, but if I'm good enough right here, I'm not going to even show it off, because what they sometimes do, these enemies, at least the big guy that you saw me fighting a little bit earlier, they throw like oil barrels, not even barrels, but like little oil flasks at you, and with those, of course, like drench you in oil. And then other guys, so for example that smaller one that I just killed, that was also one of those oil flasks. But yeah, the smaller guys then shoot fire arrows at you, and of course you then just explode and die. And I love that feature. I love how they just added a very neat twist to the mechanics right here, and thus made it much more interesting. And I would have loved to see more areas do something similar to that, because I mean, if you look back at Dark Souls 1, there were kind of more areas like that had some neat little twists to them. I don't know, I guess Tomb of the Giants would be an example, because that area would have been super easy without that, and kind of really just boring without the darkness that you encounter. But having that added to the whole mix makes it super interesting and very different. And I guess you could also argue that Catacombs are a little bit similar to that, in the sense that they also add a nice twist to the whole mechanics, because enemies respawn like immediately, unless you then of course use... Is he already? Alright, I'm going to talk about these guys in a second here, but you want to be careful about them. Now, yeah, like they respawn unless you use a divine weapon, so there's also a neat little twist in there. I can't think of all the areas right now, but I don't know. For me, at least, No Man's Wharf right here, one of the better areas of Dark Souls 2, in my opinion. And yeah, that's basically also the reason for that. That it kind of twists it a little bit. You're gonna have to be a little bit more careful. And it's not only that, so not only the fact that they try to make you blow up using those oil flasks, and also I should add that if you're carrying a torch and they throw one at you, you're also just instantaneously gonna explode. So I'm just gonna maybe let that sit for another while. Yeah, it's not just that, also the enemy that you just saw me killing, like weird, like lurking creature. I don't know how to describe them exactly. But they're also afraid of light. And that's another way that this area adds something very interesting to the mix. Because they will then like run away, or at least avoid the light for a good while. And only after a few seconds or something, they're then gonna say like, fuck you, I'm not taking this. And then rush at you. That's also a super interesting twist of the whole thing, and I don't know, I just like it. I very much like it. I'm now drenched in oil, as you might be able to see. That's not a good thing. You probably want to avoid that, but I don't think there's anybody that can necessarily ignite my ass right now, so instead we're just gonna let it wear off. Might want to hop into some water in just a matter of seconds here and then get rid of that, because you can also just do that, wash it off essentially. Now, is there anything that I'm missing right here? I don't think so. I don't think I am. So, in fact, we're now going to go down here and then do exactly that. Wash it off. Because up top, where I want to go next, there's going to be somebody shooting fire arrows at us. And I don't know. I guess I could go on much more about how I like this area and how I think it's really neat with what it does. And I guess I might as well do that for another while. Because there's so much I want to say about this. I just don't know how to put it all. Or where to put it all. There should be a dog. I don't know. Oh, there we go. That's where he is. But yeah, I love how you can just very, very easily miss all of this. Like, you could go through this area, have no problems whatsoever, and never like find out about the fact that they can just blow up your ass. And in fact, I don't think I've ever had that happen to me. But that's like the cool thing too, because then if you maybe on a second playthrough or maybe a third one then have that happen to you, it's like this super big surprise. You're like, what the fuck, I've never seen this before. I'm loving it. And those are just the moments that Dark Souls manages to do really well. So we picked up another armor set, also another armor set that I'm probably not going to ever use. Instead, we're just going to go up here now, take care of these remaining few pirate friends. I shouldn't call them friends because they're probably very evil. Like, definition of evil. And he, once again, I think he drenched me in some oil. I can't tell because my pants, they're also pretty dark themselves, so I don't know. If they're a little bit shiny, that usually means, but it doesn't quite, I don't know. I might be oiled up. Couldn't tell you though. So there's another chest right here. We're gonna absolutely open that up. I forget what's inside, but Titanite shard is excellent. You're never gonna find me complain about that. And then there's one last guy here. Usually an archer, but of course he's nice enough to switch to his melee weapon. And then right here there's going to be a locked gate. We can open that up a little bit later. And yeah, so I should add that there's another cool gimmick to this area. A rather unique lockstone, because usually lockstones, they only open up doors, like they show you a door, right? But here you could use one and you might be able to see that chandelier, yeah, the one right there. You can then light that up, and that's gonna light up the entire cave. I'm not gonna do it, unfortunately. I really love the way it looks, but it kind of doesn't help you as much as you might expect, right? Because usually you'd think, well, if there's gonna be more of those like lurking enemies, they're gonna then, of course, like, be sent away. They're not gonna fucking come out at all. Kind of, and I think I already mentioned that, they do very much, like, get angered by light and then just flip out and still come attack you despite how much they hate the light. So you can't give them too much of that, because then they're gonna come attack you. And of course, if you then light up the whole damn place, that is just gonna make that happen much sooner. So I certainly prefer just getting my own torch and doing it the old-fashioned way. I might wanna Alright, I might want to use some black bombs and stuff like that in order to dispose of them, just because they're not the coolest guys to have to fight, like, up close. And I might want to now switch out my black fire bombs for something else, something that maybe I have more of. I don't know, throwing knives, not really too many of those, unfortunately. We will run into a guy that I can then buy a lot of stuff off of, but for now, it's unfortunately going to have to be the throwing knives. And also the area, or the housement rather, that I'm now about to enter is certainly optional. There's no need for you to go down there. Is that a secret thing there? No, I don't think so. But yeah, very much optional. I still like doing it because you are going to run into a merchant. And now, as you can see, he went berserk now. He's probably going to come rushing at us and start attacking us. Is that even? It certainly looked like it. Yeah, and there he comes. And you also got to be careful. They actually will destroy this wall. I don't know if he is going to, but they usually do. Yeah, there he goes. Alright. So now, since he's in that animation, I'm just going to take swings at him. There's going to be more coming down, though. And he just went berserk. So I might actually want to drop the torch. It's going to aggro all of them, but at least now I can block their attacks as well. And I hate fighting them like this. I absolutely do. They can very easily kill you just because they inflict so much bleed. Want to heal up real quick. Yeah, they just inflict a shit ton of bleed. Luckily, it's not as strong as it might have been in Dark Souls 1. I couldn't really confirm that, though. For now, I'm just going to say it's not as strong as Dark Souls 1, and you'll have to take that with, yeah, like a grain of salt, essentially. Now, there should be more. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Don't inflict the bleed. You can also backstab these guys. I don't know. They're a little bulky, though, so it's hard to get around them. And that should be all of them, if I remember correctly. So that is good. That is very good. Nobody in here, no. Other than, of course, the merchant that I was talking about. And let's open up this chest right here. That's going to give us a crazy weapon. I kind of like it. I've never really used it. Only just, like, for a few minutes just to fuck around with it, essentially. But we picked up the great sword, and look at it. Just look at it. I love it. It's like fucking Cloud Strife or something like, right? Something like that right now. Jesus. Anyway, what's the sword we're using? Haid, Haida, whatever you want to say. Very much like that. And then this chest is going to be another trapped one. We'll have to see. When it's green, you roll away. When it's white, you block. Because then it's going to shoot like arrows at you. Or bolts, I think, much rather. But anyway, this is Gavlan. We're going to talk to him. He's funny. He's really useful. I like him.
Gavlan will, Gavlan deal. Gavlan wants soul. Many, many soul. What? With Gavlan, you will, you deal.
Alright, so Gavlan over here, he's a Gurm. That's what they call the race. And, yeah, essentially they're like the Dwarven race here in Dark Souls 2. They're a new race in Dark Souls. Didn't exist in Dark Souls 1. And, I I don't know, I find him to be really useful because he sells all this poison stuff and you can also actually sell items. So I think it's kind of similar to, say, the way that Frampt did it in Dark Souls 1. Because like him you could feed, I think. Feed your items and he would then give you souls for that. Here, just basically sell yeah, stuff you don't want anymore. So for example, stuff that I have 2 sets off or whatever, and I'm just gonna do that real quick. It's gonna give us some extra souls. Extra souls are always nice. So I think that's actually already it. Haven't picked up too much now, have we? But he's one of the few NPCs that never go to Majula. You will not find him in Majula ever. So if you've been wondering about why that is, it's just like that. So if you've been wondering about why you cannot find him in Majula, he just isn't there. You will run into him at different points though, and I'm absolutely looking forward to that. I really like Gavlan. He's also, I think, kind of become one of the favorites, I guess, favorite NPC characters in the game. You will a lot of the time just find funny messages in front of him saying something about wheeling and dealing. And yeah, so we've basically now reached the end of this level right here. We can now ring this bell, and that's gonna make something really awesome happen. Take a look at that ship in the background. I really like this. And yeah, I mean, see, it is probably one of my favorite areas of the game. I just feel like they could have done a lot more with it, because it's really short. Right, it's super interesting, it's super tight and packed, and I have a blast running through it. But then it just stops, kind of. And that is really unfortunate, I feel. And I feel a lot, I feel like that for a lot of areas in Dark Souls 2. Some of them just aren't as long as I maybe would have liked them to be. There's no freaking Anorlando, because that's a rather long area. I think I at least remember it that way. And it's just kind of, yeah, as I was saying, unfortunate that they don't give you a little bit more of what is already an amazing area. Right. So just wanted to make sure that I could equip those poison throwing knives, because now we want to go down here and we're going to have to once again take care of 2 of those lurky things. I should really look up their name. I have no idea what they're called. But you can very easily just poison them with, like, I don't know, maybe 4 knives. Yeah, there we go. So that's him poisoned. He's gonna now die. I should maybe still pay attention to where he goes, though. Alright, that's him dead. And there's another one. This one I'm also just gonna poison very quickly. 1 more should do. Oh my god, really? Jesus, come on! Now it's probably not gonna even be worth it anymore, because I don't know. Because it's just not worth it anymore. That's basically the gist of that. But yeah, just want to kill him real quick. I believe... Is there not a secret thing around here? I feel like there was... There's definitely a few secret areas in this section of the level. I'm gonna try to find them real soon, I think. Might be down here, though, instead of in that room. So, yeah, now we just want to get to that ship. That's basically our mission right now. And as a matter of fact, yeah, it's probably going to be right in here where I remember that kind of, like, that hidden passageway in that secret room. There's poison barrels, though. He just got poisoned. That's really funny. Nobody else in here, I don't think. No. You just want to be careful about the barrels. So there's a chest. What are you going to contain? I have no idea even. Ooh, that is super fucking fantastic, actually. A Estus Flask shard, and there's a lizard. So now, this is going to be super fucking annoying, just because of that sword that we're carrying. And I do want to switch that out as soon as possible. I mean, I like it. I really like the lightning damage it does, and in general it just does a lot of damage and is kind of cool. And also the moveset can be useful, but there's no like vertical. I need like a straight down attack for some enemies and also for some just corridors, I guess. So as soon as possible. I haven't quite decided yet what kind of weapon it's going to be, but if we find something, I'm absolutely going to then switch that weapon out. So I should add that these barrels you cannot break just using a bow. Let me actually show that off real quick, because we do have the time, and it's probably going to illustrate it rather well. So if we now do it this way, it's not going to break, but using either a throwing knife, maybe even also an iron arrow, or also heavy bolts, if you're using a crossbow, you can then break those. And that, of course, is really cool. Now, we're going to want to go up here. There, I think, is another one of those Viking-looking guys that we have to kill. There we go. That's him. That's the one. And then we can open up that shortcut, that gate that we were standing in front of a little bit earlier. And this is also where the summon sign for Lucatiel is at. And we might want to have her help us out. We might. Let me just very quickly... Why is there no item here even? I don't think I've ever jumped down here, but now that I'm seeing that corpse, like, why is there no item there? That is rather strange. Well, anyway. Ignite the torch, because there's going to be 2 more of these, and then that's going to be it for these guys. Luckily, no mass. Unless, of course, we die and have to make our way back here. That would really suck. Come on, do not go berserk. Just take the last 2 swings and die. I think they drop, like, for the most part, random things. For whatever reason, they're right now dropping a lot of, like weapons, just basically. A lot of weapons. And here we just want to diffuse the situation a little bit. And only then go back and get Lucatiel. Just so that she doesn't accidentally fall down into the water, something like that. Because it's actually like some kind of ambush. These guys are just dangling down. They're gonna get up if you're not careful. Then also additionally, there's a guy right here that we just want to kill. Then pick up some items and go to Lucatiel, summon her, and basically just then get started on that next boss fight. I mean, I did say that this area is rather small, and I guess it kind of still is. But it's one of the longer areas that just doesn't have a bonfire in between, right? Because we haven't had a bonfire since like the first minute of this episode. It's now been, I don't even know how much it's been, like a good 22 minutes without a bonfire. And I feel like more areas should have done this. I don't know. I don't want to complain too much about the game. There's certainly stuff it does worse than Dark Souls 1. And in general, I think I would even say, yeah, I would definitely say that Dark Souls 1 is the better designed title. But still, yeah, I mean, I love it. I really like this game. There's so many positive things about it. It's just the fact that you always have to compare it to Dark Souls 1, kind of. I mean, that is a very, very logical comparison to make. So, just comparing those two, I always feel like this is not as well designed. But at the same time, it is still a very amazing game and one of the best games that I've played this year. So, Lucatiel, be careful. I do want to point out something real quick. Do not walk off the fucking edge. Don't you dare. I think she does it. Okay, well... yeah, you want to run through, apparently, if you have summoned her. Well, there's a guy there. He sells sorceries. I'm never going to use sorceries with this character, so I'm not even going to bother with him. Instead, now we're going to take on that fight without Lucatiel. What a stupid... I don't know. Yeah, just... NPC AI in this game is not the best. It just, unfortunately, isn't. And I'm once again oiled up, and that is actually terrifying because that guy up there fires arrows, and we want to be super, 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 super careful now. It might even be worth going back and only then approaching this guy. But I think we should be able to do it, especially if we get the backstab. Yeah, awesome. Alright, and another interesting thing is that because we haven't rested at a bonfire yet, my weapon durability, as you might have been able to see, is really low. Like, it's way down there right now. So I want to use a repair powder before I tackle this. And that should now make it... Yeah, it's like halfway, and that is alright. Repair powder doesn't fully repair anything, unfortunately. But that's alright. That's alright. I guess they kind of just made the mechanics surrounding weapon durability a little bit tighter. Like, I mean, you always restore your durability if you rest at a bonfire. That was not the case in Dark Souls 1, but it also wears down much, much quicker. And yeah, I think with all of that out of the way, we're now just going to very quickly enter this fog gate, enter the mist, and then tackle the next boss right here, the Flexile Sentry. Should be easy. Should be. But, of course, like it's the case with anything in Dark Souls, that is not a given. It is not a given, and I still need to be really careful. Lucatiel would have been really good for this fight just because she distracts him quite a bit, and that is really good to have. But I don't know. I guess we're not having that today. I don't know. Other than that, though, I feel like this boss is really one of the better designed ones, like at least artistically. I really like what they're doing here. It looks really cool. And they just seem so odd, right? They're like weird lizardy creatures. You don't run into too many lizardy creatures in the game other than these guys. And I don't know, I find them super interesting. Like, I would like to find out more about them. Like, are they kind of slaves? Because they do seem like they're not really doing this because they want to do it. Much rather, they seem like there's some kind of prisoner in here. Especially, like, being on this ship. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even really know what they're all about. You can probably read up on them if you take a look at their boss soul and maybe also the boss items you can create from that boss soul. But I haven't really done that yet. Come on, stop circling around. That's my thing. I am the circling man. Alright, well, I'm just gonna finish him off then. No need to tango around like that. That's the Flexile Sentry out of the way. We get its soul, his, there, I don't even know. And can now leave the ship. Now, before we now interact with this thing, which is gonna then make you leave the ship, we want to open up this chest. As I said, usually chests around the area where you killed a boss, and we're gonna get pyromancy right here. So that's a really important chest for a lot of people. Not for me though, I don't think. Instead, I'm just gonna now examine this, interact with it, basically, and then leave the area. So, pretty similar to, say, the moment where you're on top of Sen's Fortress and demons pick you up. This is very much another little journey kind of thing. You enter a new world by interacting with something, right? There it's a ring of light, here it's some kind of weird navigational desk, or whatever that's supposed to be. And we can now enter the new area. Also, an area that we could have entered using that, like, I don't know, crow's nest? I don't even know if it's a crow. It kind of looks like some kind of eagle or hawk-looking bird that you might remember after the Pursuer fight. I think I pointed that out, but we never interacted with it. So this is basically an alternate way to the next area, which is going to be the Lost Bastille, or Bastille. There's like multiple pronunciations so that I haven't quite figured out which I want to roll with just yet. So I'm just gonna switch it up and maybe even give it my own name in the middle or something like that. I can't quite tell you. So, as you can see, there was an item right there. We're absolutely gonna get that. It's kind of a small environmental puzzle, I guess you could say. Not too hard to figure out. But some people are maybe gonna miss it, so I do want to make sure to get it. So basically the way you do that is by triggering this, leaving, having this descend again, so we can then jump on top and access that. I think it must have been this way, right? I don't even quite remember. Let's just try to... I don't think I even have to immediately hop in, which is good. Yeah, it totally was here, because it's just gonna stop right there. So repair powder and also a new weapon, really cool. Not gonna use it, but at least we have it now. And we're gonna go back up. So we're really getting close to the end of this episode already. Took care of the No Man's Wharf this time around and also entered the Lost Bastille. And we can now basically just activate a bonfire right here and then leave. I do want to kind of go back to Majula, I think. Yeah, probably before we take on this next area in the next episode, we are totally going to go back to Majula and take care of a few things, because there's quite a few things that I would like to take care of. That's a bonfire right here, and we are now going to rest at it, travel to Majula, Farfire, sit through the loading screen, and basically what I want to do now in Majula is level up faith and work on a few miracles, maybe get some miracles, because I mean I've been talking about it quite a bit now, but I do want to start using some miracles, and I think the earlier we do that, the more I don't even know how to phrase that. That is fucking advanced English right there. Right. What did I say? Do wanna maybe first of all get the miracle that I'm talking about and only then level up. So we only level up as much as we need to. But yeah, basically what I was trying to get at is the earlier we get miracles, the better, just because then we're gonna be more comfortable with them. At least I like to think so, and she's now down here. I don't think I've ever mentioned that, but yeah. Lycia is now here, and she says that there's another path. You might have already noticed that when we first went through here. Over there is another area that we can go to, and she can actually move the path. We don't want to do that right now, though, just because there's no need for us to go over there. Instead, we want to buy the lightning spear for 6,000. It requires... oh god, I almost had to burp there. Sorry for that. But it requires 22 faith, and we're really, really not just anywhere close to 22 faith at all. So it's gonna be tough, I think. It's gonna take a lot of souls in order to get there. But if we manage to get there, it's probably gonna be really amazing. I don't even know if I have any attunement either, so we might also need to get that. Maybe now, looking back at it, I probably should have started with like some kind of cleric, for example. Yeah, we're gonna need 10 of attunement. That sucks. How far can we go with faith now? 13? But we do have some additional souls, so I'm just gonna do it for now. I would certainly love to use that lightning spear. But yeah, for example, if we had started with a cleric character, this would not have been a problem. All we would have had to do was, yeah, it would have been like leveling up the faith and not any attunement or anything like that. And faith also would have been high right out the gate. So, yeah, I don't know. Nothing we can change about it too much. Right now, I'm just going to use these souls. Luckily, you can now very easily use multiple souls at a time. I'm just going to try to crunch as many as possible. so that I can then hopefully get my character up to 22 faith. If it doesn't work out, it's not too big of a deal. We can still do it later on. I mean, I'm doing fine with the melee weapons right now already, so there's basically no need for it already. But as I was saying, it's gonna be nice to have them. So let's talk to her again. I know your dialogue. Don't waste my time. Also, I just realized that I have another Estus Flask shard. That might have been part of that whole like thing we opened up, the secret door in the No Man's Wharf. And now let's see how far we can get it. Yeah, 16. That's fine. That's at least something, right? If we had heal or something like that, we could already make use of that right now. So that's pretty awesome. But Lightning Spirit, not so much. At least not yet. I think that's going to do it, actually. I think that's going to do it for this episode right here. We took care of the No Man's Wharf, defeated another boss, opened up the second way to the Lost Bastille. I mean, since I'm German and basically just a few hours away from France, I might even pronounce it the French way. So Lost Bastille it is, and we're going to go there next time, I think. Maybe using the other path as well, the one that's behind the pursuer, so basically somewhere over there. But also absolutely the bonfire that we activated. So, with all of that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will be back with the Lost Bastille and hopefully have a good time in that area. So, yeah, see you next time. Have a good night, or good evening, or a good day. I don't care, just as long as it's good.